You know that moment when you've done everything you possibly can? You've pushed, you've planned, you've overthought every outcome, and yet nothing moves? That's not life punishing you. That's life waiting on you. Because sometimes the only thing standing between you and the very thing you want most is your own grip on how it's supposed to happen. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means stepping out of the way. It means loosening the death grip we've been taught to have on everything. Our timelines, our success, how people should act, when things should come, how they should unfold. But here's the twist no one tells you. Life actually works better when you stop trying to control it. And it's not some magical law. It's physics, it's energy, it's focus. When you're forcing something, your entire system is in tension. Your body's in fight mode. Your brain is scanning for resistance. And that resistance, it multiplies. It feeds off itself. You're not failing. You're just holding too tightly. The moment you start trusting, even slightly, things loosen. Energy flows. Opportunities you couldn't see start surfacing. And not because the universe suddenly remembered you exist, but because you finally stepped out of your own way. The dam breaks the moment you stop holding it back. Letting go is the unspoken power move of the spiritually awake. It's the quiet shift where you stop begging life to bend to your will, and instead allow it to carry you forward in a way that actually feels aligned, peaceful, real, and natural. And ironically, that's when everything you were chasing starts moving toward you. Letting go is not passive. It's one of the most active choices you'll ever make. Because the truth is, control gives us the illusion of safety. It tricks the mind into believing that if we just manage everything perfectly, we'll avoid pain, failure, or disappointment. But what actually happens is we end up suffocating the very thing we're trying to grow. Think about this. When you plant a seed, you don't keep digging it up every day to check if it's sprouting. You water it, you trust the soil, and you let nature take its course. But with our own lives, we rarely do the same. We overanalyze the silence. We panic when things don't go as planned. We wrestle with uncertainty like it's something to defeat, instead of something to move with. But here's the part no one teaches. The universe, or life, or God, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't operate on tension. It responds to openness, receptivity, alignment. When you stop gripping, you stop resisting. And when you stop resisting, you stop blocking the very flow that's been trying to reach you. Letting go isn't about giving up on your goals. It's about letting go of how you think they need to happen. Because the moment you stop obsessing over the how, you start opening yourself to the infinite what if. New ideas land, new people cross your path. Things that used to feel forced now feel easy. You begin to notice that life doesn't need to be pushed. It needs to be allowed. It's like standing in a river. The more you fight the current, the more exhausted and stuck you become. But the moment you release, the current carries you forward. And maybe not to where you expected, but always to where you're meant to grow. Here's something we rarely stop to consider. How much of your stress comes from chasing clarity too soon? We've been conditioned to believe that if we don't know what's next, we're doing something wrong. So we scramble for answers, for timelines, for signs that we're on the right path. But life doesn't always hand you a GPS. Sometimes it hands you silence, because you're supposed to hear yourself again. And that silence, that moment of stillness when nothing is certain, that's often where everything real begins. Because when you stop chasing the next breakthrough, you create space for the right breakthrough to arrive. Not the one built on desperation, not the one based on fear of missing out, but the one that's aligned with who you're becoming, not who you're afraid to stop being. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop begging. It means you stop showing up with the energy of, please work out. And instead, you show up with, if this is for me, it will come. And if it's not, something better is already on the way. You stop knocking on the wrong doors, hoping they magically open. And instead, you turn around and notice the one that's been slightly open all along. The one you didn't see because you were too fixated on the one that kept staying shut. That's what letting go unlocks. It doesn't hand you instant results. It shifts your energy so you stop blocking what's been circling you this entire time. One of the biggest shifts happens when you realize this. Life isn't punishing you when things fall apart. It's redirecting you. But we don't see it that way at first. We grip so tightly to the old plan, the relationship, the job, the timing we thought we needed. And in that grip, we exhaust ourselves, trying to revive something that's already served its purpose. Letting go isn't just emotional, it's energetic. You're telling the universe, I trust that what's meant for me doesn't need force to stay. Because here's what most people miss. When you cling too hard, you send a signal out. One that says, I don't believe there's better out there for me. And life responds to that energy. It gives you more of the same. More resistance, more friction, more reasons to doubt yourself. But the moment you loosen that grip, the moment you step back and stop overmanaging every little outcome, things start rearranging in ways you could have never predicted. It's not magic, it's not woo-woo, it's alignment. It's you no longer blocking what's been trying to reach you for months, maybe years. Because the things that are truly yours don't feel like a tug of war. They arrive with a kind of flow, a quiet ease, a sense of, oh, this fits. You can't get there by micromanaging the universe. You get there by trusting it, by knowing that if something requires you to betray your peace just to keep it, it was never really yours to begin with. There's a strange kind of power that comes the moment you finally say, I'm done trying to control everything. It doesn't feel powerful at first. It feels like surrender, like weakness, like giving up. But that's only because we were raised to believe that control is safety. That if you just try hard enough, you can bend life to your will. So we push, we chase, we overthink every decision, every message, every outcome. And we burn out, wondering why nothing's working. But the truth? Control is just fear wearing a disguise. It's fear that says, if I don't hold everything together, it'll all fall apart. But guess what? Some things need to fall apart. Some endings are invitations in disguise. And sometimes letting things break is what finally makes space for something real to be built. Letting go is not laziness. It's intelligence. It's choosing peace over panic. It's trusting that life has a bigger view than you do right now. That there's movement happening beneath the surface, even if you can't see it yet. And the irony is, the moment you step back and stop forcing things to work, that's exactly when they do. Opportunities that didn't exist suddenly show up. People who were distant suddenly reach out. Doors that were shut for months open without resistance. Because life was never ignoring you. It was just waiting for you to stop gripping so tight, so it could finally breathe through you. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on what you want. It means giving up on the stress, the pressure, and the idea that you alone have to force everything into place. There's a moment that comes after the chaos. After all the overthinking, the nights staring at the ceiling, the constant internal war of, why isn't it happening yet? And in that silence, you realize something. Life doesn't respond to control. It responds to alignment. You can say you want peace, but if your mind is constantly racing, checking timelines, chasing answers, you're not asking for peace, you're rehearsing anxiety. When you let go, even for a second, you start to move differently. You walk slower, you breathe deeper, you stop needing to impress everyone or outpace the invisible competition in your head. And that's when something beautiful happens. You start aligning with who you actually are, not just who you're trying to be. The job starts calling you. The right people begin to notice. You no longer chase moments. You attract them effortlessly without even needing to explain yourself, because energy doesn't lie. And the version of you that's calm, present, and unattached, that version speaks louder than any words you could say. Letting go turns you from a seeker into a signal. And once you become the signal, life starts moving toward you. You see, the universe doesn't rush. And when you're always in a rush, you're not in sync with it. Letting go isn't laziness. It's not passiveness. It's learning to trust what's unfolding without needing to manhandle every detail. And that shift in energy, it changes everything. Think about it. Have you ever tried so hard to fix a problem, to make someone understand you, to force something to work? And the more you tried, the more resistance you felt? That's the irony. The tighter you grip, the further it slips. But the second you step back, breathe, and detach, solutions appear. People respond differently. Your mind starts creating instead of controlling. Letting go isn't about giving up your vision. It's about giving up your obsession. There's a huge difference. Obsession comes from fear. Trust comes from stillness. And it's only when you're still enough to hear the subtle cues, that inner whisper, that quiet nudge, that you realize life was never ignoring you. You were just too loud inside to receive what it was trying to give. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Not because you're helpless, but because you're finally wise enough to let life meet you halfway. Letting go is the doorway. Alignment is the reward. And once you experience that shift, you won't want to go back. There's something strange that starts to happen the moment you let go. Your energy shifts in a way that people can feel, even if they don't understand it. You no longer walk into rooms with anxious eyes searching for answers. You walk in with presence. That alone changes the entire way the world responds to you. You stop trying to convince. You stop trying to chase. And in that stillness, in that quiet self-trust, things begin moving. Opportunities you used to fight for now find their way to you. Not because you don't care anymore, but because your energy is finally clean, detached, unbothered, and that ironically makes you magnetic. When you stop grasping for a certain outcome, you become open to better ones. Outcomes your mind couldn't even imagine while it was busy controlling everything. Letting go doesn't mean you're careless. It means you're focused, not on forcing life to obey you, but on aligning yourself with what's true. You stop being reactive. You start responding. And more often than not, your response is calm, quiet, collected, because you're not chasing anymore. You're choosing from a grounded place, and once you start operating from that place, it's shocking how much starts unfolding without your effort. The right people stay, the wrong ones drift, the chaos fades, and suddenly, what once felt stuck begins to move. And maybe that's what this whole journey is really about. Not figuring everything out, not controlling every step, but softening your grip on life just enough to let it breathe with you. When you stop pushing, life starts unfolding. When you stop chasing, it begins arriving. And when you finally let go, life doesn't fall apart. It falls into place. So here's your reminder. You don't have to carry it all. You don't have to force it to happen. You're allowed to relax into this moment and trust that what's meant for you is already on its way. If you felt this shift even once, comment the word flow below. Let's see how many of us are finally learning to let go.